DWP board did the actions that they took. Some people are trying to say, well, it's all about the same thing as the PA report recommendations. You just said that they're not necessarily the same. One of the components is the same, is the 0.8 cents per kilowatt increase one time, the first increase. That's similar to what DWP would like to do, and also what you recommended to the City Council in your report, that it seems to be agreeable and something that makes sense and something that would hinder negative things happening like bond ratings being affected, et cetera, correct?
That's basically correct, yes.
Okay. Now, beyond that first quarter increase, that's where it really starts to differ, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did the Department of Water and Power, did they take a vote separate on that 0.8 cents per kilowatt increase one time, and then the rest of the matters on a separate vote? Or did they do it in a way where now we're forced to either reject that 0.8 cents per kilowatt hour inclusive of all the other matters that they voted on?
I can't answer that. I think the department would have to answer that. So.
Okay, so the department, can you come forward? Somebody from the department.
Jeff Peltola, CFO for DWP. Yeah, there were two separate actions. One was to increase the cap to 0.8 cents and creation of the trust fund. And the second action was the actual administrative calculation of the energy cost adjustment factor.
Now, the first item that you just described, that is a 0.8 cents per quarter going forward for several quarters, or is that a 0.8 cents one-time increase?
It is the increase of the cap, so it is not actually an increase of the ECAF by itself. The second action, which is really governed, and now I'm getting into the legal, I'll probably ask legal to come up, but that second action is the calculation per that being approved. So if it is not approved, they would be subject to what it was before, which is 0.1. And this is all because in the existing ordinance that was in 2006, I believe, allowed the board to adjust the cap pursuant to financial needs.
So basically what you're trying to describe to us is that there really was no way for the board to bifurcate the various issues and to isolate that one-time 0.8 cents per kilowatt increase.
It's right. They can only increase the cap to 0.8, and then every quarter the board will take action with what that energy cost adjustment, and obviously PA has made recommendations to reconstitute, which would require an ordinance.
And Councilman Cardenas, the other key difference in the 0.8, the way the board passed it, was they also tied it to the creation of the trust fund. So they're linked in the same motion, where we would not recommend that.
Mm-hmm. So you would not recommend that?
No.
Okay. And then also, why is it that the Department of Water and Power Board voted on 3/18/2010 and not the week before or the week before that? Why was it agendized so late, so close to April 1st? Because the April 1st seems to be the date that was referred to, I think, by, I don't want to misquote our president, that are basically saying that we don't like a gun put to our head. Why was it that it took until March 18th that item was agendized, and now it seems like the sky's going to fall if the council gets engaged and actually asserts jurisdiction?
Raman Raj, CEO of DWP. There was lack of quorum. We didn't have enough board members in town to have a board meeting the week before that.
I'm sorry, you got to speak a little louder. What?
There was a lack of quorum, so we didn't have enough board members in town to attend the board meeting the week before.
Well, you just answered to the wrong councilman the wrong answer, because I'll tell you this, when I rejected and took jurisdiction over a board action at the Department of Water and Power, they had an emergency board meeting very quickly because they had the will to do so, and also one of the board members at that time could not make it to the meeting. So what they did to comply with the Brown Act is they went ahead and posted the board meeting at that person's workplace so that they could actually be present on a speakerphone at that meeting and get a quorum. So that is a bad answer, because when the Department of Water and Power wants to, they get things done very quickly. And when they don't want to, they play games like this. I've seen it, and thank God the last time they played those games, we rejected it last time as well.
Mr. Zine is our next